Welcome to the Solid Verbal. And now, Dan and Ty.
Dan Rubenstein, as we come on the airwaves today, as I look at my calendar, I have good news for you.
Always ready.
Welcome to Cocktober, my friend. It has finally arrived. How are you?
I'm good. It doesn't count as Brocktober for Iowa State, even though Brock is gone. We don't count that anymore.
We could call it Rocktober.
Oh, that's
depending
true
how this
for
weekend
Rocco Beck.
goes.
True.
Yeah.
2 C's. Like thick with 2 C's, Rocktober with 2 C's. Okay.
That's exactly
I
right.
don't hate
Welcome
that.
one. Welcome all. Thanks for stopping on back here. Listening to the Solid Verbal, we've got week 6 in front of us. Go back and listen to the episode that we dropped on Tuesday if you want the deeper dive of the Vandy-Bama game, of the Miami-Florida State game. We've got a handful of others on today's episode that we're going to talk through with all y'all. We've also got an exciting contest. We've also got your quads. We've also got your window of opportunity. We've got a whole bunch of other fun college football stuff to get you prepped in advance of week 6. Dan Rubenstein, as always, it is a pleasure to be back with you.
Yes. Oh, the pleasure is all mine, Ty. And speaking of pleasure, Ty.
Pleasure.
Don't ever say that. Even I have limits.
Sorry.
Speaking of pleasure, I was looking at a number of these matchups, and we like to nickname these Saturdays. And the theme I kept coming back to when I looked at these matchups was there's opportunity here, Ty. There is opportunity for teams, especially via opponent defense, to really do something special, Ty. That there is an opportunity that if you are who you say or people say you are, Nebraska or whoever, Penn State's offense, maybe they just ran into a buzzsaw of Oregon, but now they have UCLA, right? That there is opportunity across the board to put up some points, right? If Vandy truly hasn't played a defense worth a dang, sorry for using the D word there, Ty.
Well, that's aggressive on this show.
Thank you very much. And Alabama has that passing attack, and it is absolutely for real. They should be able to make some hay through the air. So, Ty, welcome to Sow Your Oats Saturday. Once again, get out there and score responsibly.
How is the mood striking you now?
We've done a Sow Your Oats Saturday before, I believe.
Way back when we were younger men.
Sow Your Oats Saturday, right? Get out there and score responsibly. I just think there's a lot of opportunity for teams to put points on the board, given some of the defenses so far, that this is an opportunity to cement a prolific offensive status. How about that?
Well, we're leading this show off with Cocktober and Sow Your Oats Saturday.
Swordsman Saturday, whatever you want to call it.
What could be to follow here on the Week 6 official preview episode? Hit follow, hit subscribe so that you don't miss any of our episodes. Verballers.com is where you can go if you want to sign up for Run the Board. We'll talk about this week's prize a little bit later.
Agree.
Dan Rubenstein. All right, so you're saying Sow Your Oats Saturday.
You want me to list out the teams? Or are you good?
Well, sure, if you want to.
I think there's opportunity for the following teams, right, to sow their oats, get out there and score responsibly. I think Alabama has that opportunity. I think Miami perhaps has that opportunity after what Virginia was able to expose in the Florida State defense. I think Kansas State has that opportunity against Baylor's defense, and perhaps vice versa. I think Cincinnati might have that opportunity very quietly against Iowa State.
I think that's possible.
Notre Dame against Boise State's defense this week absolutely has that opportunity. I think Clemson has that opportunity against North Carolina. And there was something down here that I also noticed. I think Pitt against Boston College has that opportunity. I think Arizona against Oklahoma State, Penn State against UCLA, Nebraska against Michigan State, and Kansas against UCF.
Yeah, there's a bunch on here. I think there are going to be ample opportunities this week for teams to establish themselves. And as you were going through that, I was thinking of the old Pete Weber quote.
Sure.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Exactly right.
There's a little bit of that going on here as well in week 6. Look, week 5 was jam-packed. There were a million games at all hours on week 5. Week 6 is not week 5, but week 6 is, I think, a very important sandwich week.
Agree.
For us here at SV headquarters, because as we look ahead now into week 7, into week 8, which we will start doing next week. We got to get through this one first.
Yeah.
But as we start getting into week 7 and 8, you're again going to see this recurring theme of just monster matchups between ranked teams. These are the types of games that help define who teams are, especially now as we get into the second half of the season. But you can't get there before week 6. And as you said, though there are ample opportunities to score responsibly, to sow those proverbial oats, there are also, I think, plenty of upset opportunities here and plenty of chances for teams that might be a little bit under the radar to step up and really impact the discussion in a way that's meaningful.
Agreed.
And maybe that we didn't see coming a couple weeks ago. So I'm excited to get into all of this and much, much more with you.
Hey, real quick, it'd be great if you could consider subscribing to the YouTube channel down below. It really helps us out.
I just sort of want to dive in.
I'm ready.
I don't want to beat around the bush.
No.
Dan, time, help. I need picks of the week.
Again, it is week 6. Go back if you want to hear more about the 2 games that we previewed in depth on the Tuesday episode. Vandy at Alabama. Matchup of ranked teams, Vandy at 16, Bama at 10. Number 3, Miami on the road for the first time this season against number 18, Florida State. Alabama favored by 10.5, Florida State favored by 4.5. We've actually been getting messages from a bunch of people telling us that we're the only ones picking Vandy this week.
That's probably right.
You picked them outright. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
I don't think they're winning outright. But again, my theory of the case here with Vandy and Bama is that these are 2 teams that play kind of slow. And if you're giving me 10 points in a game where both play styles are more of a glacial pace as compared to the rest of college football, I'm probably going to take them.
Sure.
And plus, Vandy's got a little history here. And, far be it from me to bet against Diego Pavia. I don't want to do that.
Vandy has behaved like a strong offense should behave against a limited schedule. And the age of Diego Pavia, now into his mid to late 30s, that has, I like the receiving options at Vandy. I like Alabama a good deal. I just don't think Bama's a finished product. And when you can't run the ball or don't try to run the ball all that often, and I understand like the ceiling of Ty Simpson is fascinating here, and with those receivers with Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams, etc. The line seems to have gelled nicely after that Florida State game. There is just something about Alabama that I'm not fully there yet with. And so, I don't know. There's something about Vandy still that in a letdown spot, not that they're being overlooked, but in a letdown spot for Bama, right? That it is a come down after winning at Georgia. Didn't have that game right. Picked against Bama incorrectly there.
We both did.
Kirby basically only loses to Alabama.
Let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
Because this is the 3rd or 4th time I've heard you mention this about the Alabama ground game.
Yeah.
And I've got the same spreadsheet as you.
Yeah.
The numbers on the ground aren't good.
Right.
Not by a long shot. Doesn't mean they don't have players who can run the ball, but it is certainly not a featured part of the offense, or at least not as featured as we've seen in the past.
Right.
How do you respond to the people that have chimed in, have come back at us and said, well, they don't run the ball because that's not really the featured part of the offense. The offense is built around the pass. That's who they are. And it doesn't matter to us if they can't run. Who cares?
Right. It doesn't matter until it does. And there is still something about the ability to win in multiple ways, especially in the red zone, especially in tight games and short yardage situations. Look, if you're going to go full air raid, go full air raid, and that's fine, and you can make it work. I'm just not there with Alabama. That there is something that if you are going to be a team competing to win the SEC, to go to the playoff, to win a national championship, which is obviously the expectation in Tuscaloosa, I don't think fully ignoring the ground game or fully ignoring the ability to improve there, I think it limits your ceiling. And that's my problem in these, what I perceive to be tight Alabama games, even though they were able to pull it out last week. It was more of holding on than being able to establish and, dig that game away. That's barely English. Against Georgia, right? That they don't score in the second half, that, it's fits and starts drive-wise, that the ability to lean on the run, especially when it's working, I think adds a dynamic to an offense that I think might be being undersold by Bama fans in this moment. But you know what? It's a long season and there's room for growth.
There's always room for growth, for sure. And I think they've come along really well. I've been super impressed by Ty Simpson. Even if the Bama offensive effort in the second half against Georgia was kind of nowhere to be found.
Right.
Even still, Ty Simpson has been a revelation since that week 1 game.
Sure.
And he has been damn near perfect. So with that as the starting point, knowing the coach, knowing the offensive coordinator, knowing what they've built elsewhere, you got to feel pretty good about that.
Yep.
And as I said time and again now, it feels to me like Ty Simpson's a better fit for the offense.
Yep.
It seems like they are realizing this progressively throughout the course of the first half of this year. And I'm curious to see where they go from here. They got to go through Vandy first. And Vandy's going to be upset-minded. Vandy's a giant killer. Diego Pavia, big game hunter, right? There's just no two ways about it. Curious to see what they look like here now on the road in Tuscaloosa, if they can spin up some of the same magic as a year ago.
Yeah.
Also, in the southeastern part of the good old US of A, we've got this big one in Tallahassee at 7:30 on ABC. Again, we previewed this one in more depth on the Tuesday episode. You can go back and listen to our thoughts on it there. We're both on Florida State, though. We're both on Florida State plus the points.
To cover.
And to cover. I don't think it's necessarily a swipe at Miami to take Florida State here because this is a historic rivalry. There's obviously a lot here.
I mean, it's only a
baggage.
swipe at Miami to the most sensitive Miami fans, Ty. So we're not really dealing with a lot of people.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
This is a historic rivalry. This has got a lot of baggage associated with it. And this is Miami's first test away from home this season.
True.
Like Miami a lot. I like the lines. I like what we've seen out of Carson Beck. I like what they've got on the ground. I like what they've got through the air. I love Malachi Toney. And defensively, that line is ferocious. We've seen that a couple times now. But this is a rivalry game. It is on the road. Florida State's got a lot to play for. I do think there was a bit of a look ahead going on last week when they were on the road to Virginia. That's not the only reason why they dropped that matchup.
Right.
But it definitely could have played a factor. Florida State's going to be juiced up for this one, and it's a night game in Tallahassee in the Doak.
Yep.
This is going to be a tough, hostile setting for Miami to, again, prove what they're worth. If Miami comes out of this one, if they cover, if they win going away, even if they don't win going away, who cares? Just going on the road and winning a game like this, again, in a pretty big rivalry spot, I think is going to be pretty significant, obviously in the ACC season this year, but the broader playoff discussion. This is one of those that I think Miami needs to have to prove to everybody that, yeah, this wasn't just a flash in the pan for the first month of the season. You win a tough one like this one on the road. That's meaningful. You can kind of build upon that.
I think you're right. I think there's weirdly less pressure on Miami, even though they're the better team, and there should be a good amount of pressure on them, just because now with Florida State losing to Virginia, there is, like, how good of a coach is Mike Norvell to get this team's heads on correctly for Miami coming home in a rivalry spot to sort of have that amnesia of saying, yes, there are things to fix, but we can't stay, held up on everything that happened in Charlottesville. So I think there's a ton of pressure at home where the expectation at the very least is to play very well against a team that it's very difficult to play, or against whom is very difficult to play well against. And so I think there's a considerable amount of pressure on Florida State. The expectation from Florida State fans is that this is a program that should be competing this season for the ACC, especially given where Clemson is. Now Syracuse is down a quarterback. Your Pitt Panthers don't look as world-beating as they once did. SMU is down. That there is ample opportunity at or near the top of this conference. And Florida State has an opportunity this week to say, yeah, we're there.
We're there. Look, we did the ACC power rankings on the last episode. That was damn hard to do in the ACC.
Sure.
After you get past Miami, it's just a big old smattering of teams that you can make a case for if you squint hard enough.
Yeah.
And Florida State's in there, but there are a bunch of other teams that are too, and it still feels like the ACC outside of that top line is pretty wide open.
Sure.
Who knows what goes down here? If Miami loses, the whole thing's wide open.
Great.
This is a really meaningful matchup, not just because it's a rivalry, but I think there's a lot of significance on it in the ACC and the playoff conversation as a whole. So
yeah, we talked more about it on the Tuesday episode as well.
Talk more about it on the Tuesday episode. Go back and listen to that if you're interested in sort of the deep dive and the matchup and the keys and all that. But we do have some other games to get to if you are prepared, Mr. Rubenstein.
I'm ready.
High noon, ESPN2. We've got number 14 Iowa State on the road at Cincinnati. It is the first top 25 team to visit Nippert Stadium since September 23rd, 2023.
Whoa, really? Wow.
Yeah, they're going to be ready for this one. That was when Oklahoma came to town. It was Cincinnati's first ever Big 12 conference game. Also of note, October 4th has a special meaning in program history for Cincinnati.
Okay.
There was a game, you may recall this one because we were doing the show. 2019, little freshman corner by the name of Sauce Gardner
Yeah.
picked off your boy Dylan Gabriel for a
sure.
pick six. The Bearcats beat then UCF by a 27-24 score. It was sort of the coming out party for Sauce.
Still UCF, but yes. They were
Still
then
UCF,
UCF,
yeah.
and now still considered to be UCF.
Dylan Gabriel was then with UCF.
Right.
I should
Then
say.
quarterback Dylan Gabriel. Huge moment. And obviously, since he has had huge ceilings since then, and dealing with new coaches and new rosters and everything like that. But yeah, the modern history of Cincinnati football is terrific.
It is terrific. We haven't talked at all about Cincinnati.
A little bit with
This
the Nebraska week, but yeah.
A little bit. They lost 20-17, their opener to Nebraska. Haven't really played anybody since, but nice comeback win last week.
Yep.
At Kansas. They're very quietly 3-1, and they're favored in this matchup.
Yes.
They're favored by 1.5 points over the number 14 team in the country in Iowa State, which I find kind of interesting.
Okay.
And I have spent a good chunk of the last 48 hours trying to make sense of that.
Really? Okay.
I have. Brendan Sorsby's been playing out of his mind at quarterback.
Yeah.
They are first in the nation success rates when running the ball, when throwing the ball. I guess they're seventh when throwing the ball, but easily top 10 on both fronts. They are not perfect.
Right.
There are some caveats, but this is definitely at a minimum an offense that is playing really well right now.
Agreed.
Take that, Dan. I want you to take it to the side, put it up on the shelf next to the elf. Okay. I am interested in this game though because I still do not understand the point spread.
You think Iowa State should be favored?
I do.
I
the wrong
think
team
you're
is
bringing
favored
in
here.
last year's baggage with Cincinnati to a certain extent and the injury stuff, and everybody's beat up now, but I think you're bringing in prior stuff. Continue.
Aren't we all?
That's true.
Aren't we all going through life doing that, Dan? Come
Agree.
on.
Yeah.
When there is a line that I do not understand, I like to steer into it. I don't know if I can do that here, but the reason that I think makes the most sense to me is that Iowa State is down their two starting cornerbacks, both of whom are out for the year.
Yep.
So I thought of that, and I'm like, okay, well, they can move the ball. Sorsby's playing well. They are throwing the ball well. Is that enough for me, knowing what I know of Iowa State, to go against them? And I don't think I can. I think I'm in for a dime, in for a dollar with the clones right now.
Okay.
Where are you at here? Why don't you go first? Because I have more to say here. But
You already went first. You can't start talking about a game and be like, no, you go first.
Well, why don't you go now, and then I'm going to go again.
Okay, I like Cincinnati here. I think Iowa State is a good team, definitely good team. I think jury's out right now on great team. They haven't separated themselves consistently. Now, they've answered the bell, right? They beat Kansas State and Ireland. They take down, South Dakota and Iowa, and they ran away from Arizona, which they should have done. That was impressive. I think Cincinnati's a good team. I know they might have one of the worst pass defenses in America, so they're going to have to weather that. Jalen Daniels threw for 744 yards last week. But,
This defense is dead last.
Yeah.
136th in the nation in completion percentage allowed. Teams have completed 74% of their passes against the Cincinnati Bearcats, Dan.
yes.
That is a lot. That is not good for those of you playing along at home. Not at all.
Yes, I agree. Also, the other extreme number is they have given up the most 20-plus yard pass attempts, I believe. Not necessarily completions, but
Right.
teams feel especially compelled to throw downfield on Cincinnati.
We'll just try it. See
Listen,
what
I mean, we
happens.
should definitely be doing this, guys, right? Yes.
Sure.
And they're fine doing that, all their opponents. I grant you that. There is just something about Iowa State's defense that I don't think I'm fully there with, that they can go on the road and take down a quality team like Cincinnati. And I think people are going to be juiced for this game. What time is kicking this one?
Kickoff is high noon.
Oh, it's high noon, which I actually like for Iowa State. But no, there is something about the offensive momentum that Cincinnati appears to have. And I think Iowa State is good but flawed. And I think they'll be able to move the ball. And I think it'll be a frenzied crowd in Nippert. So I'm going with Cincinnati here, the home team, to be able to score points against Iowa State.
Yeah, I've seen some conflicting opinions on this matchup, but I kept coming back to that pass defense.
I agree. It's the worst thing on the field. Likely the worst.
Yeah, and it's not like the Iowa State passing offense is a high-volume attack.
Yeah.
It isn't. But Rocco has been really solid so far this season, and I think they're absolutely good enough to take advantage of a defense like this. Also, this wouldn't be the first time that Iowa State shut down a high-powered offense.
Right.
If that ended up being the case. That's kind of what they do. I stand by what I said at the top. I think the wrong team is favored. I think Iowa State finds a way to grind it out. I think it's something like 24-18, 24-17. Would not surprise me if we saw Cincinnati get off to a bit of a slower start after the emotional win a week ago. Sometimes we see a little bit of letdown in the first half. But I'm in on Iowa State, man. I've been in on them all year. Give me the Clones, 24. Let's officially say 24-17.
Okay. The only other thing I would point to in this game is you look at Cincinnati and their actual like defensive scoring numbers aren't bad. They're like a little bit above average, even with a terrible pass defense, which means they love a good bend, but they don't break. And so their red zone defense is great in Iowa State in the red zone because Iowa State, again, can't run the ball at all. And so there is something there. Those high leverage, like 3rd and goals or, 1st and 10 from the 13 when Iowa State has the ball, like I think that's going to decide the game here.
High noon, ESPN Plus.
Okay.
Kansas State, the Wildcats on the road at Baylor. Baylor favored by 6.5 points. Did you happen to see that Dylan Edwards was finally back out there in more of a featured role last week?
Yes. A big deal.
Had a good game. 20 carries, I believe, for 166 and a touch.
Yeah.
Significant moment for K-State to get him back. They have been reeling since that trip to Ireland. They're 2-3. They played in 4 one-possession games, 3 of which went for L's. I don't really understand K-State, Dan. I still have not heard a cohesive argument for how we got here with K-State football. I know it hasn't been great, but they've been pretty close. It hasn't been a total disaster. I look at the spreadsheet. There are plenty of numbers on here I point to, and I say, oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're 2-3. They could be doing a lot better, but it doesn't feel to me now, a couple games into this thing, that K-State is quite the disaster it felt like a couple weeks ago. And this is a really good opportunity for them on the road at Baylor, perhaps to reestablish themselves, to build some newfound momentum and carry it with them the remainder of the season. Is it time to believe in our K-State Wildcats again, Dan?
I think they're a good buy low team, but like, what is it that if you're buying in Dylan Edwards, that's fine. With him healthy, they're certainly going to run the ball better, it seems. This is a team that's pretty beat up. I just don't know what you can count on them to do really well all the time. Year to year, it varies what that thing is, but the sloppiness on offense, especially through the air, is just killer to me. Like, they don't have a passing game at all. And so going to Baylor, going to all these places that have teams that have the ability to score points, I just don't know how Kansas State matches week to week. So, look, if you run well, that opens up the passing game. Obviously, you'll be able to control clock a lot more, and so that you can get in more control if you're running the ball better. And Kansas State gets after the quarterback reasonably well. I don't think they're turning it into sacks, but they can't lean on the defense. They've had relatively consistent quarterback play before Avery Johnson. They don't have that. I just don't think this is a team right now that's built to win 8-9 games. And obviously it's pretty unlikely at this point in the season that they are, but I think they're improved. I just think even with Baylor's defense, there's more to like about Baylor. But here's the but. I'm bringing the but on Sow Your Oats Saturday. Get out there and score responsibly.
How is the mood striking you now?
Baylor Kansas State just feels like a back and forth. It just feels like a little bit of shootout potential in this one. I don't love either one of these defenses. So I'm going to go Baylor to win 38-34. I think it's that kind of game.
I'm not too far off, actually.
Okay.
And as I was going through and looking at numbers...
It's also a nooner.
This is a nooner.
Yeah.
That is correct. As I was trying to put all of this together in my head, I kept feeling like Baylor is that meme from Moneyball. You know what I mean? The one where Jonah Hill's up at the whiteboard.
Yeah.
This is Baylor football, Dan. Their offense is electric. Their quarterback leads the nation in passing yards and touchdowns.
Great.
Their deficit is that their defense is a wreck.
Yeah.
It's still a wreck. It's not better. I love the offense. I just think it's a bad matchup for their defense if K-State can get it going on the ground.
Right.
If what we saw a week ago with Dylan Edwards, if that's going to be now more of a trend, if K-State does get back on, track on that front, they could definitely jump back onto the radar if they go to Baylor and they win this one outright. So I'm with you. I actually like K-State outright, though. I've got this at 38-30.
Whoa.
I agree that there's probably a lot of shootout potential here. But I think it's going to be K-State reasserting itself, getting going on the ground. If they can do that, if they can control clock, keep the Baylor offense a little bit more off the field. Again, their defense, K-State's, is not amazing either.
Right.
But I think with what they can do on the ground, potentially, that's an opening, and that's a really good matchup for them to exploit in this game.
By the way, this is what Oklahoma State has done this season against FBS teams in terms of the
Oklahoma
scoreboard.
State?
Oklahoma State. Sorry, excuse me. Baylor. Well, no, Oklahoma State, because what they did to Baylor last week. Okay?
Sure.
Oklahoma State scored 3 points at Oregon, 12 points against Tulsa, and then 27 against Baylor.
Right.
So I'm just saying, and maybe it's a post-Gundy bump, but Baylor's defense has not arrived. There's my
Are we
take.
going to play this game the remainder of the season where it's like, how many points did Oklahoma State score against you?
Yes. Yes.
I don't hate that, actually.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Baylor's defense, there is one aspect of it that I love.
Okay.
Have you seen their turnover prop?
You showed this to me. I had not before then, but yes, now I have.
Whenever somebody recovers a turnover, whether it's an interception or a fumble, they got a full bear coat from the closet of their strength coach, Vic Valoria.
Great.
It is awesome.
Yes.
It is. I don't know where you go from here in the turnover prop game.
Right.
Go and look it up on Google. There are guys on the sideline wearing a full bear outfit, like a Tanuki suit in the old Mario. It's great. I love this so much.
I didn't know that people wore bear fur. I didn't know that was a
really?
fur coat. Yeah, I've heard of like a mink coat.
Oh, I had a little bit of bear fur on the back of my baseball glove when I was growing up and playing.
I've seen the rugs.
Leagues.
I've seen the bear skin rugs.
Yeah, those creep me out. I don't like that.
Not my thing. Fur in general is not my thing.
No.
I can appreciate the look of it. Sure.
The bear coat. Go look up the bear coat. Even if you're anti-bear coat.
Yeah.
It's
a statement piece. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something, all right. So we sort of agree. We're both taking the points here.
Correct.
At a minimum. 3:30 ESPN, number 9, Texas, on the road at unranked Florida.
Yeah.
Texas is a 7-point road favorite, Dan. Would you like to take a ride with me on the Underthink Express?
Sure. Let's ride it. Choo-choo.
Florida is 1-3. Would you say in a bit of a state of crisis?
I don't even know if it's crisis. I think everybody's sort of at peace with what's going on.
Yeah, they're going to fire Billy Napier.
Right.
Yeah. This is how this story ends. The offense has been painful.
Yes.
It has been painful. So now what you're telling me, if this schedule is to be believed, and who knows what we can believe anymore.
Right.
We are going to take that offense and we're going to put it up against an elite Texas defense that probably is the best they're going to see all season. Realistically, how many points can we expect here from Florida? Like barring 4 turnovers and short fields from Texas that set them up. What is the upper limit for points that Florida can score against Texas?
24. Upper limit. Not
Upper
realistic
limit.
number. Upper, if everything goes right, 24.
I don't even know if it's north of 20.
Okay.
I might have it at 17.
Got Dallas Wilson back. We'll firepower
We do get
receiver.
Dallas Wilson back. Yeah, I'm excited about that, actually.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this. If you believe that Florida can cover this game, I think you're counting on one of two things. The first is that Florida's defense, which is tough,
Yeah.
and has kept them in games this season, that they come to play.
Yeah.
Texas offense has definitely had some warts as well. Notably in the passing game, Arch hasn't been good. So maybe the defense can kind of step up and provide a different look, a different equation for Steve Sarkisian to try and solve. And then the second bit of that would be the home field advantage because they're playing this one in the Swamp.
Right.
Which, look, we've been around college football for a long time at this point. You can't discount these loud home environments unless it's a whiteout, apparently. So I think there is a case to be made for Florida. I'm not necessarily buying it, but more to the point that you made earlier about Florida State maybe having more pressure on them despite being a dog.
Yeah.
I think you could probably make a similar case for Billy Napier and the Florida Gators because they need an act of God at this point, I think, to retain his services or for him to not be fired and be retained at Florida. It may already be too little too late, but this is sort of like a must-win situation for them, and perhaps maybe some desperation mode will light a fire.
Okay.
That's it. That's the best I can do if I'm trying to craft that case.
Florida Gators home dog of the week. Play the sound.
The Yakos home dog of the week.
Yakos hot dog, not a sponsor. Most certainly could be. I loved my experience at Yakos. I don't know if I love the food, but I loved my experience there. It checked every box of like an old time neighborhood hot dog spot.
It was everything you wanted and more.
Yes, exactly right. The case for Florida is easy, right? You got to be able to ride the roller coaster when you have a central belief system like I do, and that is good defense at home, tough place to play, underdog, right? As a home dog, you take that team. Okay? You take that team.
Isn't your rubric quarterback and defense, though?
My rubric is quarterback and defense, but anytime you can give me a home dog with a good defense and a tough place to play, which the Swamp very much is, I take the points.
We were talking about DJ having the yips a week ago.
I stand by it. Tie.
Okay.
Two things can be true at the same time.
I don't mean to interrupt. Continue, please.
How many points? It's week 1, but how many points did Texas score on the road against a good defense on the road?
7.
7 points, 1 touchdown. So you don't need 20, 24 points if we get a similar performance from Texas in this spot, right? You don't need that many points. I grant you this is buy low. I grant you this is believing in a last stand, last hot dog stand, if you will. There is something about Florida in this spot. They have equal time off, rest, right? They were both off last week.
No rest advantage, you're right.
So there's no rest advantage, but it is rest, home, and the worst of Florida, and you could argue that also existed at home against USF, but you can say they overlooked the Bulls, whatever. They got to win that game. That's a stupid game to lose. Sorry.
They have to.
In the manner that they lost,
game.
that's a stupid way to lose. That they were awful in Death Valley against LSU, certainly very bad against Miami offensively. But I think they have the defense. And what is it that you've seen from Texas this season, in Austin, away from Austin, to make you say, I think they're going to have this figured out against a good defense in a tough place to play, when I believe UTEP was a struggle.
Right.
So,
well, look, it's a very good question.
I understand why Texas is favored. I just would imagine 3.5, 4.5, and that's just a bigger number than I anticipated. So they're my home dog, and I'm not thinking twice.
Okay, I mean that's valid.
Yeah,
I can't go with Florida because it feels to me like Florida's in disarray.
You got to buy low. They're a penny stock. You got to buy low. You got to have faith. But I get what you're saying.
They're less than a penny stock.
Yeah,
it feels like they're in disarray.
A peso.
It feels like we were in desperation mode 3 weeks ago, and we're still there now. It doesn't feel like they're getting better. Now, maybe Dallas Wilson gives them some pop. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm just not buying it. Like, if you believe that Florida can cover, you're counting on that defense.
Sure.
And even that defense, which I generally like the defense, they're not getting pressure at all. If they were, maybe you could craft some sort of case, given Arch Manning struggles, that involves turnovers and field position. And I'm not buying that.
Okay.
I understand why the spread is where it is, but to me, this looks like a fairly comfortable win for Texas. I think it's something like 27-13. And actually, this might be a bit of a neck crack for Arch, if I could say that for a second.
Have fun.
61% completion percentage so far this season. Don't be surprised if we're talking about this game a month from now, about how this matchup for him, this showing for him on the road in the swamp turned things around. I think we're going to get a good showing out of him against this defense. 27-13 is my final.
We disagree.
3:30 ESPN2. It's the Who's.
Yeah, buddy.
Ranked 24th in the country on ESPN2 on the road against Louisville. Louisville is a 7-point home favorite. They are undefeated. They are obviously hosting a surprise team in the Virginia Cavaliers. This is very quietly a massive conference game in the ACC.
It very much is. You're right.
It is a massive conference game that nobody's talking about. We haven't talked much at all about Virginia this season, but obviously pulled off one of the bigger upsets in program history. A week ago, they took down number 8 Florida State in double OT.
Yes.
They are 4-1 overall, 2-0 in conference. Their offense is rolling over 45 a game, over 240 rushing yards per game. Dan, Chandler Morris has been a revelation at quarterback. It's a very balanced, it's a very dangerous attack.
Yeah.
So the question is, can they continue that momentum? That was an emotional win at home a week ago.
Yeah.
Can they continue that again this week against another tough opponent, or are we going to see a bit of a letdown? How do you feel?
So the concerns with Virginia are obvious, and the appeal points for Virginia are obvious, right? That they're able to move the ball. They're beat up front on offense. They're able to weather that against Florida State. The defense is a concern for Virginia against a team that can move the ball like Louisville, although Louisville has been led by their defense this season. And you can point out that it's a letdown spot for Virginia, and that's totally fair given the emotional nature of that win against FSU. It's kind of a letdown spot for Louisville as well, needing to come back and beat Pitt on the road. That was a tough spot that they were able to pull out.
Oh, yeah. They were down 17-zip after a quarter.
Yeah.
They had to force 5 turnovers, to your point of being led by defense. Miller Moss has been solid, but not spectacular.
Correct.
And notably, for what it's worth, if we're talking of this in terms of the point spread, Louisville has not covered the point spread at home all year. They did last week, but they have not covered that point spread at home. They're 0-3 so far this season.
They also needed a strong fourth quarter to beat JMU, I want to say, who's obviously a good team. Earlier on in the season, it's not a direct letdown look ahead for Louisville after beating Pitt. I think they have Miami next, but it's after a bye. There is something about Virginia that I just believe in, that I think this show travels. And so I'm taking the points.
You want to believe.
I want to believe.
Okay.
I'm believing in the Who's right now. I think Louisville's good, but there is something that, I mean, I said that you were using old stuff to inform your current opinion. I don't know if I can escape, Miller Moss memories from last season. And
Miller Moss watch extends across multiple seasons.
Right. The Moss watch continues. And so I think Louisville is good this year. Obviously, we talked about the ACC being wide open, and Louisville, why not Louisville, right? After Miami, of course. I don't know. I'm a Virginia believer, and it's, again, double letdown spot. It's on the road. There's every reason in the world to think Louisville. But something strikes me that the Cardinals haven't been especially pronounced in their wins. And I'm not going to say LRO, luck runs out, but I'm just not a believer that they're on solid ground yet.
Virginia's like the bell in Polar Express, where you can see it, and you can see somebody shaking it, but you can only hear that sweet, sweet sound if you truly believe.
Oh, I haven't seen Polar Express. That's Tom Hanks?
You've never seen Polar Express?
No. You're out here watching kids' movies? I watch a lot of kids' movies.
It's one of the best.
Hold on. This is the Polar Express is the one with Tom Hanks, right?
It is the one with Tom Hanks, yes.
And it's animated?
It's animated. It's fantastic.
It's from 2004?
Listen, I'm a huge Chris Van Allsburg fan. I was back in the day. I still am to this day. I got a whole collection over at Mama H's house.
That's the author?
That's the author, yeah.
Okay.
He put his dog in all of the books and everything. Yeah, I got an autograph from him. I was very into Chris Van Allsburg back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't lecture me on Polar Express, Dan.
But that's the first place you go with, like, believing with faith? Polar Express, the bell?
It's not always the first place I go. It's the first place I'm going here.
All right, fair enough. So where do you stand?
I don't believe.
Okay.
I'm not hearing that bell. I like the momentum that Virginia might have, but I do think it's an obvious letdown spot.
It is.
Going into this game with Louisville. I think this is going to be a fun game. I think Virginia's offense is good enough that it's going to score, but I also think that Louisville's defense is good enough that they're going to force more turnovers.
Totally.
And I'm just like the letdown potential that could be on display for Virginia. That to me is a little bit worrying. Now, maybe they come out. Maybe they show a level of maturity that I am underselling right now. And if they do, good for them. I'm not rooting against Virginia. It was an incredible win a week ago. They're ranked in the top 25. I was looking, I think we talked about it at some point, but like there's a really good chance that this is a team that gets to 8 wins.
Yeah.
At this point, given the remaining schedule, which would be an absolute coup for Tony Elliott.
Agreed.
Right? He was on the hot seat to start this season. So to come now into this game with real ACC conference ramifications, that's a huge win for them.
Agree.
Good for him. Great for them. I'm just not on it. I'm not on it. It's still a good story even if they lose. I've got Louisville something like, I don't know, 35-24. And I'm actually going to make it my lock of the week. So maybe the best news yet for Virginia.
I was going to say, I might lock up Virginia right now. Holy moly. Okay, fair enough.
Some other quick games. Let's just mention them here in passing. Please. I don't know if you got thoughts on Wisconsin at Michigan. This one's at high noon on Fox. Michigan favored by 16.5 points.
Yeah.
Are we donezo on Wisconsin at this point?
The only thing that you can feel, I think, decent about in this game is Wisconsin has done a really good job against the run. Now, granted, they played against Alabama, who doesn't run the ball and hasn't had a lot of success. I don't know what the exact numbers were from that game, but the numbers have been okay. Actually, no, they've been pretty good for Wisconsin against the run. And obviously, we know that's where Michigan shines the brightest on offense. But yeah, throwing into this Michigan defense, Michigan coming off of a bye. I think that's equal rest time. Wisconsin also coming off of an off week. But there's no real reason to believe Wisconsin can keep this close. And there is every reason in the world to believe that Michigan can generate points from their defense via short fields and, maybe get some explosion plays. So I'm on Michigan here to cover a big spread, but I don't know. There's just the lack of offense from Wisconsin. I just don't know how they get to 13 points in this one.
This is like 41-17 or something.
Lock of the week.
In favor of Michigan. I'm with you. 3:30 on Peacock, Boise State making the trip to South Bend to square off against Notre Dame. When I made the document earlier in the week, it was Notre Dame minus 17.5. It jumped up to 20.5. I still don't think it's high enough. I think Notre Dame is going to absolute beat the daylights out of Boise State. That game a week ago against Arkansas, and granted, Arkansas's got its own issues. They just fired their coach as a result of what Notre Dame did.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame, I think, sent a real signal later in that game when they were up like 40 points and chose to run a fake punt.
Sure.
It definitely seems to me like they are going for the throat wherever possible. And given that, this is a Boise defense that I don't think is very good. I just don't.
It's not.
So my thought is that Notre Dame is going to run it up wherever possible. I think they know what the assignment is. I think they know they need to look damn impressive every game moving forward. They do have a USC game coming up in a couple weeks. That's obviously the biggest one left on the schedule, but Boise State could well be a top 25 team by the time all is said and done. You never like to count a team like Boise out of that G5/G6, whatever we're calling it, playoff spot.
Yeah.
They're not my first pick at this juncture, but Boise State obviously has some name recognition, and they're going to be part of that conversation, whether you like it or not. Notre Dame is going to hammer them. They're absolutely going to hammer them. I'm not making it my lock of the week because I don't want to jinx it, but I think Notre Dame wins this one going away by like 30 points.
All right, you heard it here first. Ty and I agree. Notre Dame's defensive issues are done with. Notre Dame
they're
and
not
Chris
done
Ash
with. No.
Are
they're not done with.
On the same page. Everybody's locked in. They're ready to continue apace with their defensive dominance. That's
the
only
worst thing
kind
on the field is Boise's defense.
I agree. That probably, yeah.
And they're going to get destroyed.
Boise can move the ball. They've been scoring points, granted lesser competition. Notre Dame traditionally does not struggle with G5 teams when things are looking good, right?
Right.
No, I'm just being an ass, Ty. That's where they exactly
Right.
struggle.
No, I'm aware. Thank you.
I think there's no real reason to feel great, about Boise State keeping this reasonably close unless you are truly that against what Chris Ash has done with this defense, because the offense does appear to be in a really strong place for Notre Dame. CJ Carr looks more and more comfortable by the week. The Malachi Fields, like Jaden Greathouse, they're Notre Dame, you're going to have to sort of sit down for this and write this down, but they're throwing the ball to receivers effectively.
CJ Carr looks really good.
I haven't said that in a long time.
He looks really good.
No, he does
really, really good.
He, against Arkansas, granted Arkansas, but that's a real opponent. The comfort he had and the effortlessness with which he played, stepping into the pocket, he's not buying time by running backwards or anything like that. He throws the ball down the field confidently. One of your complaints early on about Notre Dame this season was that Mike Denbrock and, Marcus Freeman weren't opening up the offense. He was going downfield.
He went downfield.
It looked like he was very much encouraged to take shots. He wasn't the most accurate all of the time, but whether it was play design, whether it was Arkansas's defense, he hit plenty downfield to wide open receivers. And so I thought that was a very good sign for what Notre Dame's offense can be moving forward.
What I like about what I have seen so far,
A,
very comfortable in the pocket, doesn't seem to be too fazed by anything that defenses are throwing at him.
Right.
It helped that he had time against Arkansas, right? You bring pressure, it's a different story. But he seems to very effortlessly work through his progressions. And he doesn't get happy feet while he's doing it. He processes the game very quickly. He seems to always know the right place to go with the football, even if the passes aren't fully accurate.
Right.
And even still, the accuracy is pretty good. It's just he's young. He's still stepping into this thing and learning what it takes to be QB1. I'm very encouraged. I'm incredibly encouraged. I have been screaming at the top of the mountain for years now. Please develop some sort of downfield passing attack, excuse me.
Yeah.
If you do that, especially now with this complement of running backs, and if the line can progress, that makes the whole thing better. It makes the whole thing better. They didn't try any of this against Miami. They tried a little bit more of it against Texas A&M, but those are separate conversations altogether. I really like what I saw from Notre Dame last week. I think they're going to pound Boise State this week.
I think I'm with you. I just couldn't find that reason. The other thing is the Boise State passing game these past couple of seasons, whenever they play a very much real team, it just even though Maddox Madsen threw some nice passes against Penn State last year, I think he threw 3 picks in the game against the playoff game against Penn State. The passing game is not there against the realist Boise opponents, and I think you're going to need that against Notre Dame. So, I think Notre Dame wins this very comfortably.
Let's do some under-the-radar games,
please.
Dan. If you're looking for reasons to be interested in some other matchups, I've got a handful of them for you today, okay?
Sure.
Start at high noon, Big Ten Network. Number 22, Illinois, fresh off that big home win over USC. On the road in West Lafayette against the Purdue Boilermakers.
Small drum or big drum, Purdue?
Huge drum.
They got the biggest drum.
Huge drum.
Yeah.
Purdue, a 9.5-point home dog. Very interesting letdown look ahead spot here for Illinois.
That's what I was going to say. The middle child sandwich of the game. Middle child's actually a really good name for a letdown look ahead sandwich.
I don't hate it.
Because that was
It'd make a great sandwich too down in Philly.
Yeah.
Huge win last week over USC. Big game on deck at home against Ohio State. Sandwiched in the middle, we've got the lowly Purdue Boilermakers. I will add one other thing, though, Dan. This comes to us from Verballer Samantha.
Yeah.
Purdue is 0-10 on weeks where Taylor Swift releases an album.
That's not against the spread, though.
Just 0-10.
Just stand up? That's just outright. Yeah. Okay.
So I am sorry to say this, but sadly it's true. The Swiftie curse is coming for Purdue again.
What's the name
Purdue
of the
is
new album?
Not going to...
Something showgirl?
Life of a Showgirl,
okay.
I believe. It comes out Friday.
You excited?
I mean, I'll check it out. I don't know.
I'll check it out. Will you have a vinyl copy in your house?
I'm sure Kate's already ordered it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
Okay. Don't be ashamed.
I'm into it. I'm not ashamed.
Okay.
I'm too old to be ashamed. I'm not picking Purdue to win outright. It wouldn't surprise me if they cover, though, because this is a weird spot for Illinois. Under the radar.
I agree.
3:30.
Hold
Also
on.
hold on. Oh, go ahead.
I fully agree with you.
Do you?
I'm taking points here. Illinois' secondary is beat up. They tried everything they could to give away the game against USC. Purdue can only do one thing well, and that's throw the ball. I think Barry Odom's a good coach. And which program allowed the 2024 Purdue Boilermakers to score 50 points in a game?
Are they breaking the Swifty curse? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't think, I'm not outright, but I think that Illinois gets a scare and they win this game. Also, the last time Illinois went on the road, they lost by 55 points or something.
They get a Swifty scare.
Yeah, Swifty scare.
Now, 3:30 Big Ten Network.
Yeah.
Washington on the road at Maryland.
Had
a very angry Maryland fan write to us, by the way.
Were we being dismissive or not mentioning Maryland enough?
I think we were being dismissive in the pregame, or the preseason, excuse me.
Look,
I didn't think much of this team. I didn't.
Okay.
I really didn't. I don't know if I was right or wrong about that. I do think they've been better than I expected.
FAU, NIU, Towson, Wisconsin, who's about to fire their coach. What can't they do? Continue.
They are a 6.5-point home dog now with Washington traveling cross country.
Yeah.
I love betting against teams that go cross country. This might be my new favorite thing on this show.
Okay. In a letdown spot.
It is a letdown spot. I am going to take Maryland plus the number. I think Washington's better. But this could be an opportunity for Maryland to win a game outside the month of September, which is kind of new in its
As
own
we
way.
record this October 1st. You're right.
That's right. It is Cocktober. So here we go. Let's do it. Let's go Maryland plus the points, but I'm still on Washington outright.
So the numbers indicate that Maryland has a strong to very strong defense. The opponents indicate that who knows for
Right.
Maryland. We kind of have a concept that Washington's defense is not all that good. They weren't that great against Ohio State. They weren't that great before Ohio State. Maryland's offense is not that good. Starting a freshman quarterback, there are going to be some lumps, and they're not going to open up the full playbook likely for him. Malik Washington.
I like him, though. I do like him. I think he's looked pretty good in his
Interesting ceiling.
Yeah.
I like Maryland here, too.
Yeah.
Washington lost to Rutgers last year, but that's last year. Different quarterback, different team, whatever. I think Washington's good, but I think this is a tough spot. I think Maryland at home with, even if the defense isn't strong to very strong, even if it's just fine, they're still a dog. I think people are going to be excited. What time is kickoff?
Kickoff is 3:30 on the Big Ten.
So not a crazy body clock situation for Washington, sort of right in the middle there. I'm going to go Maryland here. This is just the kind of spot. I'm going to go Maryland outright, by the way.
Woo!
Yeah.
Fear the turtle.
27-24 Maryland outright. Fear the turtle.
4 o'clock FS1. We got Michigan State on the road at Nebraska. Nebraska favored by 11.5 points, Dan. This feels like a lot of points, to be honest with you.
It does feel like a lot of points.
Like, if Dylan Raiola is half as good as everyone's been yelling at us, he should have a field day against Michigan State, right? This is not a good Michigan State
and they're
pass
beat
defense.
up. I think linebacker Michigan State is like they have a lot of defensive issues in this moment. Yes.
I just think Sparty is feisty. I think they're going to score. I still generally like their offense. I like their players. I think Nebraska wins, but I want Michigan State in the points, man. This is way too many points.
What did I put down here? I put down... Oh, here we go. I got to scroll down for Michigan State, Nebraska. I didn't even pick a winner in this game. I'm not taking Michigan State because the game is in Nebraska, but to your point, you are always in a game against a team who can't stop the run. And Nebraska cannot stop the run. And Michigan State can move the ball a little bit on the ground. I think they're better through the air than on the ground. But in this kind of environment, bringing that defense to Lincoln, I think Nebraska wins this game and covers double digits.
7 p.m. ESPN, it's number 11 Texas Tech on the road at Houston. Houston is a 11.5-point home dog. I'm not making any kind of wild prediction here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that I'm generally interested in home dogs, as you know. And my comment all year has been that Houston plays tough. I think Houston is tougher than meets the eye. You can bring out some of the offensive numbers. I know.
Yeah.
Those aren't great. I get it. Again, we have the same spreadsheet. So I've seen it. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I think this is an interesting test for both sides of this one. I think Tech is better. Tech is going to win.
It's a big number.
It would not surprise me if this ended up being like 30-20 and Houston gets a little bit of a backdoor cover.
They have a common opponent this early on in Oregon State. Texas Tech shellacked the Beavs. I mean, a lot of people are going to beat Oregon State this year. And Houston beat them in overtime. It was a narrow win. Texas Tech is likely very, very good. We're also talking about a home dog with what we think is probably at least a pretty good defense here. I don't know if I'd consider Houston a swamp level difficult place to play.
No.
So I'm not there with Houston and my belief system. I'm taking Texas Tech, but I don't love it. I don't love them in this spot. Does Texas Tech have any sort of look ahead? Because they're coming off a bye, which I like as well, as is Houston. Houston played Friday night against Oregon State. Texas Tech has Kansas. Tough, but not
that's
biggest
not what
game
we
of
would
the
consider
season.
Look ahead.
Right.
Now, if it were 2 weeks in the future, we could say, well, they're on the road at Arizona State. That could be a little bit of a look ahead.
Agree.
I don't see it this week, though.
Yeah.
I think they'll be focused. I think they'll be ready to go. They're coming off of a bye week. I think they win, but Houston is one of these teams that kind of scares me. And I stand by what I've been saying for a while now. They're going to dump somebody.
Team.
Houston's in the same class as Wake Forest. Teams that, still trying to build the thing, still trying to figure it all out, working with new coaches, I guess, Houston's second-year guy and Willie Fritz, but still kind of piecing this thing together. It might take a while, but these are teams that are playing with a lot of heart. When you're a home dog, I don't know.
By the way,
big team coming in. Let's say 30-20. Let's say that's my final 30-20. My prediction: Tech wins, Houston covers.
I don't hate it. Also, Baron Morton on the road is not Baron Morton in Lubbock, and not even close.
10:30 ESPN.
Okay.
Duke at Cal. Cal is a 3-point home dog. They are also Ty's home dog of the week.
Ooh.
I hate the cross-country travel situation.
The hinterlands of the Bay Area.
I hate it going even more when you're going from east to west. West-east, I can deal with. East to west, forget about it.
Okay.
I got Cal outright here. Give me Cal outright with the points. I'm all on the Golden Bears here.
I have Cal outright as well. Duke weirdly has one of the worst pass defenses, I believe, in the country, and they're getting your guy JKS and Tron Grizel. I really wish it were Grizzle, but it's Grizel. I'm going to go Cal here. I think it's a good matchup. This is, by the way, so it's a 10:30 p.m. Eastern kick. So this is 10:30 Duke body time kick, which they'll try their best to acclimate. And by the way, Top Dog is the hot dog of choice of yours truly in the Berkeley area. If they're your home
I thought
dog
you
of
were
the week.
retired from hot dogs.
It doesn't mean I can't recognize a good dog from my past.
You actually came out of retirement.
I did briefly come out of retirement. I was starving at a tailgate.
You just suddenly fell silent.
I did.
Because we walked, I think I mentioned this on one of the shows. We walked 11.2 miles around the tailgate scene outside Beaver Stadium. And at one point, we went to visit Tyler, one of our longtime Vermonters, who graciously invited us to his tailgate. By the way, if you invited us to your tailgate, you're going to get an email from us shortly.
Yes.
But we went to go see Tyler. We walked down a hill to get there. It was kind of a long jaunt to get over. And at some point, you just sort of fell silent.
Yeah.
And there was a passing moment where I was like, is Dan still with us mentally?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm still not sure.
I'm still not sure either.
Yeah.
The same could be said for me. So you came out of retirement, you ate a hot dog. You said it was good, so that's
Well, it was just,
fine.
I hadn't eaten anything, and it was Tyler, right? That was his name? Probably
Yes,
still
correct.
is. He's like, oh, we have some food if you guys are interested. There's some buffalo chicken, pasta salad. There's some hot dogs. I think we're out of our burgers. So yeah, whatever. Wasn't like, guys, load up on food, right? Wasn't crazy enthusiastic, but very hospitable and nice about it. And I said, Tyler, I'm about to eat your food. I was so hungry. So I took down a dog and some pasta salad. It was great.
Awesome. Still a really good time.
Yes.
Legs are still a little bit sore, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we ate at like 4 different tailgates. It was the best.
A couple other games, rapid fire. I just want to go through these rapid fire. Okay?
Please do.
High noon, ESPN. Clemson on the road at North Carolina. Clemson favored by 14 on the road.
I'm going North Carolina. You know why? You know why? What the hell has Clemson done? 14 points is so many points.
What the hell has North Carolina done?
I totally agree, Ty. I am on your side. Ty.
I think they legitimately stink this year.
Yeah. Is there evidence that Clemson doesn't? 14, it's just too big a number. It's just too big a number.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
I do
sure?
want to do
You're
that.
Sure.
Yes. North Carolina's defense at times has been fine.
1 p.m. on the C-Dub. Wake Forest at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech favored by 7 points here?
Yeah, 6-7 points. I'm taking Wake here.
Give me Wake, baby. Give me Wake.
Wake is just going to be a thorn at everybody's side, and they're going to win some of these. They can stop the run. Obviously, Virginia Tech ran the hell out of the ball. Was it Terry and Stewart for the Hokies last week? Yep. I just think it's a good matchup for Wake. Virginia Tech squeaks by. I just don't think they've earned a number like that.
Let's go to the nightcap, 7:30 SEC Network. It is Mississippi State on the road at Texas A&M. Now, no crazy predictions from me.
Okay.
We both think pretty highly of A&M.
Yes.
You had them number 1 in the SEC.
No, I did not. I said there's a case for like 4 or 5 different teams. Yeah.
Excuse me. But you had them up there.
Yeah.
Mississippi State's been a very good story so far. I am interested in seeing how they match up. They're another one of these teams that feels like they're going to be hard out the rest of the way. Texas A&M is at home. They're at night, but they're favored by 14 points.
Yes.
Is that too much against Mississippi State?
For me, yes. I'm taking Mississippi State here. It's obviously a letdown spot losing to Tennessee in overtime. There is just something about Texas A&M. Like there are very clear flaws to go along with clear talents and advantages that I think you need to be closer to a finished product to be favored against what I believe to be in Mississippi State, a quality team. Not a great team, a quality team. And so it's kind of like see it before you're fully willing to get on board with A&M here, because there's like the running backs are great at A&M. The best of Marcel Reed is great. The offensive line has been dependably very good for Texas A&M. There's a lot to like about this defense. But in terms of producing, stopping teams in the red zone, finishing drives, I'm not there for a number like that yet. And this is a great week to prove it.
And the last one that I've got here on my list, the rapid fire list, 7:30 on Peacock. Minnesota on the road at number 1, number 2. I guess it depends where you look.
Yeah.
If you're looking at Verbaler poll or elsewhere. Ohio State is favored by 23.5 points against the Golden Gophers. Dan.
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points against the highest graded passer in the Big Ten.
Great.
Drake Lindsey.
Ohio State hasn't been especially explosive this year on offense, nor have they really tried to be. They're not taking shots with Julian Sayin. They're working him in with reasonable, I don't know. They're being very deliberate with how they are playing offense. I think they're just led by their defense and smart decision-making on offense. And man, I wish I believed in Minnesota. I wish they could move the ball somewhat on the ground. I wish they did something excellently on defense. I just don't think they're going to keep it all that close. That said, this has like prime Ohio State, very like crockpots, gets out to like a 35-7 lead, pulls starters near the end of the third quarter, and there's just like a nice, comfortable backdoor cover for Minnesota, losing this game 37-14, something like that.
I am going to go Ohio State.
Yeah.
But I am genuinely curious to see what Drake Lindsey looks like against this defense. I like Drake Lindsey. This continues my long-standing tradition of liking every Minnesota quarterback until I feel
great,
like I've been slighted. But also,
if you're not watching on YouTube, Ty is wearing his throwback Ethan Kaliak-Manis jersey right now.
That's right. If we're being honest, there could be a little bit of look ahead here for Ohio State as well. Yeah, Illinois on the road next week. Big game.
Okay.
Write in solidverbal@gmail.com. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong. You, of course, are encouraged to go on out to verballers.com and sign up for the certified or the premium tier. Let me talk about that for a second.
Please.
If you sign up for those tiers, you get all these episodes without the ads. You get all the episodes a little bit early. Case in point, we're recording this around midday on Wednesday. We drop it to that feed right away without the ads.
Yep.
So you can hear it a little bit earlier on perhaps your commute home from the office at least 12 hours before we drop it to the public feed.
Okay.
You can also take part in our Discord, which, again, I saw some of the numbers while we were away last weekend. I want to say it was something like 7,000 messages that were exchanged on game day.
Yeah.
On game day last week.
Correct.
Obviously a big week 5, but if you're a college football fan, if you want to hang out with other college football fans and talk about what's going on, it's a great place to do so. You also get access to the game, Run the Board. Run the Board is our weekly pick'em game. 12 games, you pick them against the spread. We give a fabulous prize out to the winner. There is also an ongoing season-long contest. If you finish in the top 5, you get a seat on our board of trustees. This week, Dan, the winner gets a $150 gift card to Goldbelly. Do you remember Goldbelly? We talked about Goldbelly last year. If you do not know what Goldbelly is, not a sponsor, absolutely could be. Goldbelly lets you order food from some of the more famous, more iconic restaurants all over the country. You can get it shipped directly to your house. So whether you're into things like Texas barbecue or a Philly cheesesteak or a deep dish pizza in Chicago.
I ordered a Langer's pastrami sandwich from LA. It's the greatest thing. It held up super well. It's great.
They will deliver it right to your door. It is a great way to spend game day. Goldbelly, $150 gift card. We're buying that on our own accord out of the old jar of petty cash here over at SVHQ.
Stop what you're doing.
To the victor goes the Goldbelly spoils.
Speaking of spoils, Ty, will you drop that big, stanky, convulsing, rabid drum and fife for me?
Ho, baby. High noon on Saturday. Richmond at 3-2 on the road at Bucknell. 3-2. We drove right through the belly of the Bucknell Beast on the way home on I-80, Dan, on Sunday morning. It was so meaningful we didn't even mention that we went through it.
Is that true? Oh, okay.
You probably didn't even know it,
no.
Unless you saw signs and recognized it. But I got to go Bucknell here. This is a matchup of a newcomer.
Yeah.
In the Patriot League, the Richmond Spiders. They're on the road at the Nellies. Typically, I don't go Nellies. I'm going to go Nellies here.
So Bucknell, in the way that I think it was the first episode of the OC, welcome to the OC, welcome to the Pat League. Bucknell gets it done against Richmond. Next.
High noon, Yale 2-0 on the road over here at Goodman Stadium. Lehigh Mountain Hawks 5-0 on the year, trying to make a playoff push. Dan, give me the Mountain Hawks.
Lehigh by 35. Yeah, no question.
12:30, Fordham 1-4 on the road at your Lehigh. No, what did I say? Lehigh. Lafayette. Excuse me.
What are you doing?
Well, I see Lafayette. I think Lehigh because Lehigh owns Lafayette. But
right.
Alas,
in
Lafayette
your
at home, 3-2 hosting Fordham. Who you got?
I got Lafayette big. Did we not meet a buddy of yours who lives in Easton?
We did.
Shout out to, I believe, Andy. Magnificent
Andrew.
beard. Andrew, excuse me.
Andrew, wonderful beard. He's a Penn Stater, though. He's got no affiliation.
I know, but he knows where championship lives are made, and that's Easton, PA. Continue.
1 p.m. Morgan State 2-3 on the road at Georgetown. Also 2-3. This one being played in multi-sport field. I think we know which direction we're going here.
Yeah, we're going Georgetown here. You know, Hornets nest situation. What are you gonna do?
2 p.m. Colgate 1-3 on the road at Cornell. Battle of the Seas. Cornell 0-2. Who you got?
Ivy's tough, man. Ivy week is tough. You know, the Ivy League, they're going to the playoffs this year for the first time.
I saw
FCS
that. Yeah.
playoffs. Eligible. I'm going Cornell here. They're getting on the board against the Gators.
And last but certainly not least, Harvard. 2-0 Harvard on the road at Holy Cross. Holy Cross. Is this right? They're 0-5?
Yeah. A lot of people are saying the Oregon State of the Pat League. That's what a lot of
That's not good.
Harvard by 1 million, by the way. Do you know Harvard in Bill C's SP Plus ranks is like 80th in the country?
Really?
They're
Is that
ahead
true?
of like Northwestern and UCLA and Oklahoma State. Harvard is top, I believe, 85 or 90 in the country right now. Their quarterback is legit. Jaden Craig. I call him Bladen Craig. Colon cutting through defenses.
Yeah.
Harvard's in a good place, man. Harvard's tough. They won the Ivy last year. I think they're going to beat Holy Cross by, 80 to 90 points.
This legit means that Harvard could be favored over, like, UCLA.
I think if we were to ask Bill and get a custom spread or a custom prediction against take your pick of teams that are down P5 or G6, whatever, that Harvard would be favored on a neutral field by a handful of points.
I love it. I love it. So look, this weekend isn't as jam-packed as last. So if you do need to go out and be amongst the people,
it's
you're looking for your
season.
window of opportunity. I think your window is anytime before 4 p.m. Eastern time, even if it goes a little bit later.
Yeah.
Get back maybe by 5. Catch the afternoon showing of Cats, whatever you're into. Go to the pumpkin patch. Dan and I, we were talking a lot about farms on the way home. Maybe you're into like the apple picking thing.
Yeah.
Someone's dragging you out to do that right now.
Cider donuts? Sure.
The reason for the season. If you got to do that, just be back by like dinner time Eastern.
Has Mel Kiper's season started for you? Are you picking up pumpkin pies at Wegmans?
Oh no, I don't eat store-bought pumpkin pie.
Excuse me. Are you going to make a pumpkin pie, or are people making you pumpkin pies yet?
Mama H has already begun the process. Yeah.
Okay. No,
I don't want a birthday
store-bought.
cake. I just want pumpkin pie.
Does anybody respect that wish?
Generally, no.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
But my pumpkin pie for me is, I'm not full Kuiper, because Kuiper eats one a day, apparently.
And your birthday is Thanksgiving season, right?
It is. No,
You're in your mid to late 40s this Thanksgiving.
How dare you?
It's great. You should get a pumpkin pie. I'll make sure.
Pumpkin pie season.
Okay.
I guess the opposite of the window of opportunity is if you want to be a Quadfather. If you're going to be around your TV anyway, you're not going to be going out. Your optimal quad is actually in the afternoon. You can build this either if you got one of the streaming services that lets you build it, or if you just got a bunch of screens, you want to make it on your own. But 3:30 is sort of like the jackpot. Vandy at Bama, Texas at Florida, Virginia at Louisville, and, because we're both interested in Washington at Maryland.
That's true.
That's also in that range. You could, depending on your affiliation, sub in Boise at Notre Dame, Penn State at UCLA, although I don't think that's going to be much of a game, or stagger it a little bit. The 4 p.m. game, the Michigan State versus Nebraska game, I think could be kind of interesting as well. So you got like 7 really good options, all within about a half hour of each other if you want to build the quad and truly recognize and realize your destiny as the Quadfather in week 6.
By the way, if you want to build quads, listen to Tom Platz and do squats. That seems reasonable. Maybe like a healthy amount, not like a crazy amount.
Don't do what he did.
If you're a Penn Stater and you want to build love handles, go to Lucky Boy for a breakfast burrito in Pasadena. Oh, buddy. Oh, it's good stuff.
Now my question to you is how
all right. Well, look,
do you really want
we got to shoot here. We've been going for about an hour and 15. We appreciate everybody's support. Again, don't forget to go on out to verballers.com. Sign up as a certified or premium Verballer. You get all those perks that we mentioned earlier. You also get the satisfaction of knowing that you're supporting what Dan and I do, which truly goes a long way. We are forever indebted to you for your support. You make the whole thing possible. Help us keep all these bright lights on and keep the show going strong. We appreciate that. If that's not for you, that's fine. We don't care.
Yeah.
But please hit follow. Please hit subscribe. Please do check out our merch. We've added some new stuff. We're going to continue adding a little bit more over the span of this week.
Yes.
At merch.solidverbal.com. All of that stuff helps support what we do. And if nothing more, tell a friend about the show. Leave a rating. Leave a review. Leave a comment.
Yeah.
All that stuff genuinely helps more people find what we're doing. We're always interested in growing this big tent here.
Agree.
We need your help to do it, though. So please, if you are interested, if you like what you hear, please help support us. Even if you're not doing it on the Patreon, just spread the word. That's all I ask.
Couldn't agree more, Ty. And look, if you're looking to sow your oats, get out there and score responsibly. That's it.
For that guy over there, my good friend Dan Rubenstein, for myself, Ty Hildenbrand, thank you one and all for supporting what we do. As Dan said, go out there and score responsibly and stay solid.
Peace.